Greetings. Patrick here, 8 Questions With, and welcome to the show. That's right, we are up and live at 2 o'clock, so that tells you one thing. It tells you that we are doing a double header. That's right. And we are headed back across the pond, but not to the UK. Normally we go to the England, Great Britain, but today we are headed back to the Netherlands. Now, it's been a long time. In fact, I think the last person we chatted with in the Netherlands was Sabrina Culver. And before that, we talked to Kalina Bongers and these Muse writer directors of the action packed Molly. And notice how I said action packed because our guest defines that word. If you look at the word action packed, you're going to see Jeff, also known as 101 Bronson. You'll see his face looking back at you. He is a amazing young man. Hey, what's going on? Matt is here. Cranked out an incredible documentary. Yeah, so glad you're here. Glad you're here. Um, and as far as Jeff goes, I mean, action packed. Like I'm saying, when you think about that guy, you that's the first thing you think of. You think of '70s action heroes. Of course, you think of the westerns. You think over the top. Okay, so maybe not so much over the top, at least not in my case. But with Jeff, that's one of his favorite Sylvester Stallone movies. So uh, we know he knew we were gonna have to slide in one over the top thing before he got here. Um, but we're gonna be talking about his collection and how he got into movies and he's got a tremendous collection. His video, his he did a collection of video. I think it was in 3 or 4 parts. He's got a really fine collection. He's got a lot of really he's got a lot of great movies and TV series. And my God, I wish it wasn't so freaking damn expensive to mail things because I definitely would like to mail him a couple of things, if, for his collection for sure. But it is so freaking expensive. Um, Now you hear this anytime someone does any sort of a contest, you'll hear it over and over and over, like we can't mail anything out out of out to the US. Can't mail anything out of the US. It's so expensive to even to mail up to Canada now. But I would love to send something out to his collection. He deserves it. He works really hard on it. Of course, you've seen him do plenty of watch parties with our main man Gareth, Video Tasties. In fact, they just got done doing one. They watched Assassination, and where they're watching Assassination, they were joined by one of the co-stars in that movie to do a commentary while they're watching the movie. Now, I don't know if I don't know if Jeff knew that was going to happen or not, but I was thinking, how cool is that? That one of the co-stars of one of his heroes actually got there to come over here and talk about the movie with him. I thought that was really neat. I thought that was really cool. And Gareth, hats off to you, man, for doing that. Gareth is always doing something like that large, and I'm trying to do that a little bit more too. We're gonna be doing some things a little bit different here going forward on 8 Questions With. I'm looking to add some color commentary on myself to these shows, and um and so I try to look for the appropriate because I really enjoyed that. Gareth and Jeff give me a little talk with that young lady. I thought it was neat, and Gareth has done that before. I've had people up here before too for guests. I mean, um, plenty of times, and but I'm starting to think about it more and more. I think it adds a fun element to it. In fact, tonight we are doing that tonight. We have uh, Joe, also known as Concrete Spew. He'll be here tonight at 9 o'clock, and he knows everything metal, rock, thrash, progressive, whatever kind of music you like as far as rock goes, rock or metal. Concrete Spew knows about it, and he will talk about it. And we're looking forward to having him come onto the show tonight, and we'll be joined by our frequent collaborators, the Friendly Men. The Friendly Men will be here tonight, and we'll be talking music. So we're talking movies tonight with Jeff, and we are talking music tonight with yeah, I said tonight because it's 8 o'clock over there in the Netherlands, and it's going to be here tonight at 9 p.m. We are starting an hour early or an hour later. We are starting at 9 p.m. Eastern time, 6 p.m. Pacific. Before Jeff gets here, I better crank out the calendar while I get a chance. Tomorrow night we'll be joined by actress Melissa Sapinza. Oh, I know she's going to kill me for this. We are off on Thursday for the 4th of July. We will be dark. We will not be here. Me and the Cheetah, we're going to be watching something. We're going to be watching some movies. Taking the night off. Friday though, we are back and we are going. This is sort of international week here. Here on 8 Questions with. Let's see. Stallone, Arnie, and a Charles Bronson impression are always favorites from Jeff. But maybe a nice song from him too. Yeah, maybe we'll have a Stallone and Arnie and Bronson have a face off. I That's an interesting trio if you really look at it right now. Um, I personally feel this is just my 2 cents on this. I think Charles Bronson. I think Charles Bronson. I think he pretty much. I just think I think he just lived out his life after Jill died. I I don't think there was any passion in Charles Bronson that much. And I say that by looking at the choice of the movies that he's made. I mean, the last few movies that he made, those were not the Charles Bronson movies that we were used to seeing. Come on, Death Wish 4, Death Wish 5, Death Wish 24. Come on, that's not Bronson. 10 to Midnight, Chato's Land, Mr. Majestic, The Mechanic. I mean, holy crow. I mean, that's Charles Bronson right there, right? Um, so I felt really, that's how I feel about it. Um, Boy, he has some corkers though. 3 to Noon is my favorite Charles Bronson movie. That's a banger of a movie. And of course, it had a 1970s ending, of course, because the 1970s were all about the doom and gloom. But I really like 3 to 12. Hi, Jamie. How are you? Um, yes. I want to do something. I am looking to collaborate. I had a blast over on Garrett's show. We got done. We did Sahara about a week ago or so. Of course, Matt, you had me be a part of your documentary. That was fantastic. I really enjoyed that, and I did screen save that. I screen saved that. I posted it on my Instagram, and I sent it both to Ashley Green and Haley Bennett. So hopefully they got a kick out of that. That their work is still being talked about because Christie's an awesome movie. Christie is a kick-ass movie. That's the kind of movie I really really like. Um, uh, yeah, and Gareth is here, of course, and walking through the door. I'm sure he's waiting for our 2 night rental talk. Hopefully, as soon as that gets happening, we'll definitely do that. I'll definitely do that. I still wait for you to. I still wait for you to reschedule the Chris Annabelle talk. You should really talk to him. Let's see. Jamie says she's not having the best week, but I'll manage. I'm sorry. Let's see. My bank is giving me crap about renewing my debit card. What they won't get? They won't issue you a debit card. Banks track. This is what kills me about this is what I got a credit union. I will say one thing about my credit union. They know my shopping habits. Um, Whenever I've had my card number stolen twice. They have spotted it twice and stopped it right there. No problems at all. They just clipped it right there. They know my spending habits. They know that, seeing my card in a town that's 50 miles away that I haven't been to in over 15 years. They knew it wasn't me and they shut it off. That was amazing. Yeah, sorry you're not. Sorry you're not. Sorry this is happening. Um, see. Yeah. Isn't this something else? Um, Let me go back to the calendar real quick. This Friday we are in the Netherlands today. On Friday we're heading down to Australia, and put a shrimp in the Barbie mate. We'll be talking with actress Jamal. We'll be here at 8 o'clock. Of course, by the time we talk to her, it'll be Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Saturday morning. So that'll be fun. I haven't done an Australian interview in a long time. Uh, next next Tuesday on the 9th, we'll be having we're having a new podcast, a YouTube podcasters coming in. Our good friend Kenny Jones and Sean will be here from Talking Movies with Kenny and Sean. They'll be here on the 9th and talk about their launch of their new channel. They started a new YouTube channel, and they're going to be talking movies. And one of the cool things about Kenny is a fellow IFC fanatic like I am. He collects a lot of IFC films. We talk quite a bit about what we find, especially on Hamilton Book. I get a lot of heads up from Kenny about that because I don't always go to Hamilton Book, but I think he checks it out about once every week. So he's always abreast of what's going on. And then if they do have a new IFC movie, he always lets me know about it. And I appreciate that, believe me. So we'll be talking about their new show, talking movies with Kenny and Sean, what their plans for it are, what kind of movies, what kind of listen they are, what kind of topics they're going to be talking about. It's new and exciting. You know how it was when we first started our own shows. Even I still have the same excitement every time I sit down and talk to you guys here. It's always interesting, always different. Um, let's see. Jamie says, I have a new car, but I tried to activate it and they wouldn't do it. I'm guessing it has the wrong phone number attached to it. Oh, yes. Yeah, I mean, if you drove down there to the bank and did it, they say, "Oh, no problem." But when you call and don't do it, yeah, it's a pain in the ass. I talked to a person, two actually, but they didn't speak very good English, and they couldn't give me proper explanation of why they couldn't activate my new card. Probably, probably out of country. Probably out of country. I always ask whenever I talk to a service person and they have the accent like that. I always ask them what country they are, and then we talk about their country while we're working on the problem. I know a lot about India and I know a lot about the Philippines. Um, hey, Mr. Dan is here. He's listening while driving. That's right. Can't wait to catch up on. Hopefully, a rumor has it. I do a lot of rumors lately. Rumor has it there could be a Yeti Sasquatch hot car race going on the 4th of July. That's what I heard. I'm not sure how much the details are, but it could be a grudge match, 3 out of 5 races between the Yeti and the Squatch. As you know, they have a fierce feud going on. About someone putting somebody else into the wall, someone else trying to take tools out of the pit row area. You know how it goes. Who has the smellier breath, the Squatch or the Yeti? You know. So hopefully, Mr. Dan will be able to catch us up on that on the 4th of July. Um, no, I think it's great that you vented here. I'm glad you did. We are here to hear you vent, Jamie. We are here to hear you vent. Believe me, there's sometimes I go on channels and I crack loose as well. So you're cool. You're cool. Um, let's see, next Wednesday, we have poetess and author Katie Thrun will be here with us, and there will be poetry spoken on the 5th, on the 10th. I mean, on the 10th, there will be poetry spoken. I cannot wait for this. I've been trying to get some more poets to come in, and I got a hell of a one for you guys on the 10th. All right, the doorbell has rang. That means our guest is here, so I am ready to rock and roll as you guys are. Thank you for coming up. Share us out if you can. and let's go talk to Jeff, aka 101 Bronson.
Hey everyone. Hey Patrick.
Greetings, greetings. Glad you're here. Glad you're here.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Just let you know that I got my one over the top joke out of my system before you got here. So
Well, I'm wearing the cap in your honor, so.
that's right. That's right. Here we go. We're capping. It used to say whenever you would tease somebody, they would sit there and say you're capping on somebody. That
Yeah.
means you're making yeah. So but there's not going to be any capping here. But glad you're here. I was talking about you over at the library today, and they all know I do a show, and so they always ask me, so who are you going to be talking to today? And I was talking to them about you and about your collection and your lore for westerns and action movies and the old classics. I mean, you're a really young man, but
Yeah.
you really like you like all the guys that were coming up when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Like you're not really watching anybody today. I mean, you're not really into well, I guess there really isn't that very many action heroes today, are there?
No, sadly not. No, yeah, you're absolutely correct though. I mean, most of the stuff that I watch, most of the stuff in my collection, is pre, I would say, the year 2000. I would say 80 to 85% of my collection is pre 2000. So yeah, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, all that stuff. Yeah. There really
Now,
isn't anybody today that can compare to like a Charles Bronson or a Clint Eastwood or even like an Arnold or Stallone. Yeah, there just isn't anybody around these days.
there is one guy though. There is one guy. I don't know. I don't think I said to him, but there is one guy that's doing his best to holding up the banner. It's a gentleman named Alexander Nevsky. That guy's pretty amazing.
I think I've heard of him. Yes, his name is familiar. Yeah.
Yeah, I've talked to him here on the show, and yes, we will put that interview down below in the description box because he is an action hero. Immediately, as soon as I saw him in a movie called Throwdown in Manila,
Mhm.
and he did it with Castor Van Dien and a bunch of action heroes from the '80s, like Don Wilson was there, and Cynthia Rothrock, and a few others.
Ah,
And
yes. Yeah.
yeah, now you remember who he is?
I think so. I think I've seen that film. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. That movie had me cracking up. I never knew Casper Van Dien could do comedy like that. He was he was freaking hilarious. Um, and yeah, Jamie says Hugh Jackson is a pretty decent action hero. Yeah, he really. I mean, his body of work. I mean, if you look at it, it's more spread out. I mean, you look at
Yeah.
Arnie, Stallone, and Charles Bronson. They were just they just stuck in the genre. Action hero. Shoot 'em up, bang bang. I mean,
Yeah.
is it safe to say that they really didn't do anything else until they got older?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, obviously you got Arnold, who did some comedies and stuff with Twins and Kindergarten Cop. He tried to branch out that way. Stallone tried that but failed with Rhinestone and Stop a Man Will Shoot. Yeah, especially Bronson, I would say even Eastwood. I mean, Eastwood has branched out and done different things, but mostly they stuck in sort of the '70s cop genre sort of thing when they were around in the '70s, when they were big in the '70s. They did the cop genre, the cop films. Obviously, Bronson also had the vigilante films with the Death Wish series. Yeah, they didn't really try to branch out too much. They sort of stuck within their comfort zone, I guess. I guess they just knew what they did best, and well, they stuck with it, I guess. Yeah. If you look at
Uh,
someone like
it,
Hugh
it,
Jackman, yeah, he done action, he did comedies, he did, obviously he's Wolverine. Yeah, he done loads of stuff. I'd say actors nowadays they have more, not necessarily range, but they have more options available to them of movies to pick and choose from. I would say more scripts to pick and choose from.
I remember I was there for Gareth Video Tasties. He had Matthias Hughes on the show on his
Mm.
for I know, great interview, right? I talk about that one all the time.
Yeah, yeah, I was there. Yeah.
I was yeah, I was supposed to be off that month, I was supposed to be off, like not going up at all. And so then I'm over there watching the interview, and Garrett says, "Do you want to come up and ask a couple of questions?" Man, I could not get up there fast enough, man.
That's right. You were on right before me. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I was stoked because I mean I love Matthias Hughes. The guy's he's a badass.
he's a monster. He's big. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's amazing. Yeah, I love
and
Matthias.
he just got done doing he's doing the two movies with Alexander.
Yeah,
The
the
Vicky
westerns. Yeah.
Right. There you go. Yeah. So, I didn't get him, but I got Joe, and I got Joe Cornette, the director and actor, and I
Hmm.
got one of the leading ladies on there.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, they came and did a watch along. It's interesting to hear about the making of that movie, of those movies. And Matthias still, but I was hearing, what I was thinking about was Matthias was talking to Gareth, and he's sitting there saying how he basically got a call from his agent saying how we're not going to be representing you. The movies that
Yeah.
you've done, they're not doing it anymore. So we don't need your services anymore.
Yeah, right. I think he said that's what the agents of Stallone and Arnold also told those guys. Yeah, I remember that story. Yeah.
That just blows me away, because here we are now, 2024. We don't have any martial art movies because there's no young martial artists to come up here to take the place. I mean, we still can talk about Scott Adkins and Michael J. White and Ray
Yeah.
Park, but those guys are in their 40s now. And Michael J. White,
Yeah.
I think he's in his 50s. I mean,
Yeah.
they're still badasses, but there's no fresh blood. You know,
Yeah.
is that one of the reasons? I mean, is that one of the reasons why you stay with the known names? Because there's nothing else for you to watch. I mean, there's no one sit there. You're not looking forward to any upcoming movie because there aren't any.
Yeah, that's a fair point, actually. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I guess when I look at people like Stallone or Arnold, and I look at their films, I know what I'm going to get when I watch one of their films. There's no element of surprise. I know, they have a set thing. They do the thing that they do best, and that's what I'm going to see in one of their films. But yeah, with the new actors, it's like, okay, I'm going to take a chance on him, and you watch one or two films. It's like, well, the actors they did their best, with the martial arts and everything, but still, it's not the same. It's just not the same. I mean, nowadays films are just overblown with CGI as well, and all kinds of special effects that really don't need to be there. If you look at a film from the '70s, like The Stone Killer with Bronson, or one of them great films with car chases, all that stuff was real, and that was real metal hitting real metal. The tires were really burning out. You could almost smell the burning rubber and stuff. I always say it's just so different, the filmmaking as well nowadays compared to back then. The
Uh,
CGI really is one of my biggest bugbears in films nowadays. I wish they would just cut down on the CGI, use it to a minimum. But sadly, it seems to work for them. So
Jamie comments about Hugh Jackman is a little bit more versatile than the average action hero, I
mm,
admit, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't make a great Wolverine or Van Helsing. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Um, I think, but with Chapman though, he has more range, so he looks for
yeah,
different projects. Like, he's a song and dance man. If you ask him, do you see yourself as an action hero first or a song and dance man? He's going to go song and dance. He's been quoted as saying many, many times. He's
yeah,
done many
exactly.
Broadway shows. He's done Liberace. He's done there's a lot of things that he just loves to sing. Nothing wrong with that too, but it's just every it used to be every year there'd be a new Bronson, a new Stallone, a new Marvin,
Yeah,
a new Arnie. There was always something new coming down the line, and it was always action packed. And with Hugh Jackman, that isn't always the case. I mean, it could be Wolverine this summer, but next summer it could be Les
yeah,
Miserables.
romantic comedy or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
or a musical.
Um,
Yeah,
Keanu Reeves is another good modern action hero, and he can do martial arts too. Um, yeah, that's true. But here's the thing: Keanu Reeves himself is now over 50 years old.
I was gonna
So
say he's also getting up there in
yeah,
age. Yeah,
he's
yeah,
getting up there too. There's just no up and coming stars that we could talk about. There's nobody out there that's doing that. Um, even with the girls,
Mm,
and it's missed opportunity. It's missed opportunity. It's not giving anybody a chance. Like, to me, Zoe Bell should be a big star.
I agree. I love Zoe Bell. Yeah.
Amy Johnston should be a big star. I mean, we should be talking about their movies. About them leading their movies. Do you see the new Zoe Bell movie? The
Yeah.
professor can comment on this too, because he just got done watching a Zoe Bell movie. Um, but in the movies that she does, I mean, she just, even in the low budget films, you can see her quality standing out, and it's like, how come we're not seeing more of her?
Yeah,
Why?
exactly. Yeah.
Um, that's it's got to be frustrating for an action fan such as yourself. Um, to I guess that's the reason why you have such a fine collection, is because you go, like you said, you go back to the movies that you know and love. Um, is it frustrating to? I mean, do you have movie stores in the Netherlands? Do you have any stores left that sell physical media that you go and shop?
Yeah. Yeah. There's a few. There's a few. I mostly go to Germany because the part of the Netherlands where I live is actually like 5 to 10 minutes away from the German border. So it's very easy for me to just quickly go over the border and go to Germany. And there's a physical media store in Germany that I usually go to. That is about 10 minutes away from me. Driving with the car.
Right.
Um, So yeah, usually I go to Germany. They have a lot of stuff. We still have the odd few shops here in the Netherlands as well, but it's slowly dying out, I would say. So thank God for Germany.
Yeah. Um, how often do you go shopping?
Well, it depends really. If I'm off work, like today, and I fancy going to the shop and just browsing the shelves there, and I usually go. I would say I try to go once a week. Usually, most of my shopping is done online since COVID. I must admit, since the pandemic, it's been so easy to just order stuff off Amazon or whatever, online. But when I get the chance, I go myself to physical shop. So yeah, so I
Uh,
try to go once a week, basically. Yeah.
so how come a young guy at your age, what draws you to classic westerns and action heroes? I mean, when you were growing up, what did you watch when you were growing up? When did you start developing the love for these genres?
Yeah, well, it's exactly that. I grew up watching them. Basically, I always say the sort of the foundation was laid when I was 6, 7 years old, somewhere around that age, and I started getting into the Rocky films and the James Bond films. Those were really the first few films I really, as a very young adolescent, that I really sort of sank my teeth into the Bond franchise and the Rocky franchise. Those were the films I really grew up on mainly. My dad, he was a big Stallone fan. He was a big Rambo fan. He's more of a Rambo guy over a Rocky guy. So through him, I got introduced to Rambo as well and watched First Blood and all those kinds of films. Also the Arnold, the Schwarzenegger films. Um, so yeah, a lot of it is through my dad as well, because my dad sat me down to watch, like an Arnold film or a Bronson film or Eastwood film. I think Dirty Harry. The first time I watched Dirty Harry was through my dad, because he's a big fan of Clint. So yeah, that's really it. I grew up on them mostly. I mean, they were also on Dutch television here all the time. Those films. So yeah.
What is Dutch television like? Is it do you get a lot of homegrown films and TV series
Hmm.
there? I mean, is there anybody there, any shows or movies there that you follow that are in Dutch, other than American movies?
Yeah, it's usually around this time, actually around 8:30 in the evening. They usually show multiple channels to show like American movies, horror films, action films, whatever. Sadly, nowadays I don't watch too much TV anymore because they have commercials every 5 to 10 minutes. And thank God for physical media, you don't have commercials when you watch a DVD or a Blu-ray. That's another good point. But yeah, it's usually it's American films. And that's why I grew up on them a lot. We have obviously Dutch films and TV shows, and they show those mostly, I would say, during the day. I think there's a soap opera here in the Netherlands that's been going on like 25 plus years. It's kind of like Days of Our Lives that you guys got over there. stuff like that. But other than that, yeah, it's mostly whenever I do watch TV anyway, it's mostly just a big US film that's on TV.
I have to sit there and say that you probably remember a series. I think you and I talked about it called The Rat Patrol
Yes.
with Christopher George, and so in it they had the one general officer was always chasing after Troy and his guys. Uh, his name was Eric Newman. Did you know he's still alive today, acting in soap operas? He's been doing it for
Oh,
like
really?
yes, yeah.
Wow.
He plays a character called Eric Braden on The Young and the Restless.
Ah,
Uh,
yes.
he ain't young anymore, and he's certainly not but yes, it cracks me up every time I look on there and they got a picture of him standing there in a soap opera, and I'm going like, oh
Yeah.
man, that's the guy who kept on chasing the Rat Patrol there, dirty. but but that was actually one of the rare times. I mean, rare times. This is like this show came out in the 1960s.
Mm,
It's one of the first times, and that an German officer was portrayed as honorable
mm,
because he was an honorable soldier. He wasn't a Nazi. He wasn't a fascist. He was part of the Wehrmacht, and he was like he wouldn't shoot Troy in the back. He says, "I'll just get you next time." He wouldn't do anything like that. Um, do you watch movies when you watch movies? What do you look for as far as what's important to you? I know people sit there and say, "Yeah, watching Dirty Harry, shoot somebody," but I don't think you're that simple. I think there's a by just looking at your collection, I think that you are a true cinephile. You have deeper thoughts into the movies that you watch than just like shoot them up, bang them up.
yeah.
What draws you to a movie?
Hmm. Um, that's a good question, actually. I would say it's always story that comes first for me. I always say I don't care if a film is 3 minutes long or 3 hours, as long as the story is entertaining and gripping, to sort of pull me in. I'm gonna end up, loving it. I mean, the story is really key for me. Um, I mean, it's great to have a mindless action film with a lot of shootings. I mean, I don't mind those, obviously, as well. I don't mind those every now and then, but it's usually it's a great story that really pulls me and keeps me entertained and keeps me on the edge of my seat for the duration of the film. So yeah, I would say it's a story that always comes first.
Now I'm going to ask you a question to really put you to the test. But what's one Arnie, Sylvester, Arnold, Sylvester, Charles Bronson? Give me their most overrated film. The one film in their
Ooh,
that you look at and go like, I love these guys, but not in this movie.
overrated. Ooh, that's a good question. I pretty much love all of their films. Um, so overrated for Stallone. Gee, I don't know. There's a lot. There's a lot of great ones. Well, that's actually an underrated one for me. um, I don't know. I mean, to show you, I'm a big Stallone fan. Got him right next to me there on the Cobra poster. That's one of my underrated films as well from him. Overrated for Stallone. A lot of people do seem to love Creed 3. I mean, it has a good score on IMDb, but I haven't seen it yet, and I probably won't because I support Sly. I know he was cut out of that film and sort of removed from it and stuff. He got removed from creative control and stuff, but I can't count that because he's not in it. I'll come back to Sly. Arnie, Arnold. I know somebody wanted an impression. There you go. I think that was,
Garrett's was telling me to make sure I get some impersonations from you as we go. So by all means, feel free to do the impersonations.
yeah. I don't know. For Arnold, I guess overrated. I mean, yeah, not necessarily overrated, but a film I didn't really like with him was The Sixth Day. I think that was from the year of year 2000. I wasn't really a big fan of that one. I much preferred always Collateral Damage, which I think came out a year or two after that one, which that is the one that sort of got panned.
Yeah.
Um, I actually don't mind Collateral Damage. I actually thought that's a pretty solid performance by him, especially in the beginning when he loses his family. I thought that was very well acted by him. Um, so yeah, maybe the sixth day I would say for Arnold. Bronson. Now I pretty much love all of his. I've done a ranking of all the ones I've seen. Just looking at him right there in the corner there. Obviously, I love all the Death Wish
He's a
films.
little tougher. He's a little tougher to judge because
Yeah,
you look at some of his movies. He looks, hey, they're not very good. Well, that's not his fault. It was, he worked for for Canon Films, and they just gutted him. You know,
yeah,
as far as giving his movies a budget. So you really, you know, I- plus like you and I mentioned too before, and I still feel this way. I'm sure do you still feel the same way as well? Of all the big action hero stars, I really do think Charles Bronson. I just think I think he punched his time clock when Jill died. I think he just
yeah, yeah. I think he that definitely that hit him very hard. I think people have said he was never really the same after that one, and I would agree.
I would have too.
Because yeah, if you look, after Jill died, he took a few years hiatus in the early '90s, and he came back in '93, I want to say. He did a TV movie. He did a couple of TV movies. Then he did Death Wish 5, which was his last theatrical one. Then he finished off his career with the Family of Cops trilogy of TV movies of Family of Cops.
Uh, I heard those. I heard those were actually pretty good.
Yeah, I didn't mind them. I mean, the first one, which is directed by Ted Kotcheff, actually, who did First Blood and Uncommon Valor with Gene Hackman. That one was a pretty good one. The second one I might like even more. Second one might be my favorite, but the third one was really a bit of a letdown because you could really see Bronson he was really aged in that one. He definitely wasn't the same Bronson we're used to. I think at that point the early stages of Alzheimer's was kicking in for him as well, so he looks a bit confused throughout the film. I would say it's part of that, part of the Alzheimer's. So it's a pretty
Did
sad
he
affair to
suffer
watch
from
the
that?
last one.
I was not aware of that, Jeff. That he had Alzheimer's.
Yeah, I think he. If you read his IMDb or his Wikipedia, it says it there somewhere. And also, if you read the books by Paul Talbot, who did two books on Charles Bronson, Bronson's Loose, the making of the Death Wish films, and Bronson's Loose again on the set with Charles Bronson. I think he described it in there as well. So
Mm.
if you got a lot of people interviewed that were close to Bronson and stuff. People said he had Alzheimer's in the end, and I think ultimately he died of pneumonia. Yeah, pretty sad. But yeah, you can definitely see that in the last Family of Cops films. He definitely isn't all there anymore. It's pretty much a shell of himself, I would
It's
say.
sort of like it's like Bruce Willis. I mean,
Mm,
it was strange. I did an interview with a director who did one of his movies, Matt Eskandari, and he did a movie called Trauma Center.
mm,
And by this time, Bruce is strictly, straight to video. And I picked up a copy of Trauma Center and I watched it and reviewed it. And I was just like, wow, this is just something's not right here. And everybody kept on saying, just Willis just cashing in the paychecks. And so, my question to the director was like, how do you get somebody like Bruce Willis uh, back on the horse? I mean, because a lot of these movies, he seems to be just phoning it in. I know a lot of people told me not to ask that question, but I was just curious because I love Bruce Willis movies,
yeah.
and yes, that includes Hudson Hawk, and
Mm,
but I was just sitting there watching him, and some of the dialogue he was saying in some of his movies were just they made no sense at all. I mean, it wasn't badly edited. It was just coming from his mouth during that scene, and just didn't make any sense at all. Like his character would say that, and of course,
yeah.
you notice that he's in the beginning of the movie, and then he pops up at the end of the movie. He's not in the middle at all. And that was the same thing with Trauma Center. And I asked him that. I asked the director, says, how do you get someone like Bruce Willis to get him to have that passion and drive? Little did either one of us know
Mm.
what was going on and where we
What
were
was going
seeing.
on? Yeah.
Yeah, well, like everybody saw Bruce Willis as just cashing it in. No,
Mm.
trying to do the best he could to his ability, and he must have known. He must
Yeah,
have known. And I think that's the reason why I think he was just trying to get as much as he could in to
yeah.
provide for his family.
For his
And
family, exactly.
That's how I felt. That's how I felt. Hey,
Yeah.
Mayan, how are you? And she said hello to you. Our friend Mag Chats is in the house.
Hey, Mag
Um,
Chats, Mayan,
see, the professor says pop quiz, hot shots.
Professor.
Who wins a bare knuckle fight between Bronson, Pacino, Connery in their prime?
Well, I guess Pacino is out. I mean, I love Pacino. He's my favorite actor, but he's not really much of a tough guy. Except if he has his little friend from Scarface. But yeah, Connery was tough, and obviously Bronson. I'll probably give it a Bronson.
I give it to Bronson too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see him in bare knuckle fight. Yeah, I see him stopping Connery.
Yeah.
Connery's good, but Bronson was a whole different level. I
Mm,
mean, every movie, Charles Bronson, he always seemed to be really busy with his hands.
mm,
He's and he's a blue. He always comes across as more blue collar.
yeah.
You rarely ever see Charles Bronson play like a stuffy shirt or general or anything
Yeah. True.
like that. He's
Yeah.
always a man of the people, which is why I think his legacy is so beloved.
And that's
For
that's how we grew up. I mean, he was the son of a coal miner, a coal mining family in what was it, Pennsylvania, I believe. He worked the coal mines when he was 8 or 9 years old, whatever. So he grew up tough. Yeah.
let's see. Oh, good. I'm glad you're well, man. Glad you're here. Um, so what was the first movie that you watched that made an impression on you? Because when you're young, anything sort of looks all like on TV. But what was the first movie that you can remember where you sat there and said, "Holy crow, I like this."
um. Well, like I said, I mean, I always sort of said, the foundation of my love and appreciation for all things cinema really began with the Bond and the Rocky films. But then the film that really cemented it, it's got to be Scarface from 1983 with Pacino. I mean, when I saw
Ooh.
that film at 11 years old, a very impressionable 11-year-old, I must add, I was like, man, this is amazing. This performance, the colors, the cinematography, everything in that film just blew me away. And that's after that I started really collecting films. Every week I got pocket money from my parents, and then I went to the shop and got a film each week. That's how it all started. So it started as an 11-year-old when I watched Scarface for the first time. That was the film that really made me go, okay, I love movies. This is it.
Uh, Someone just flew in through the door. Our good friend Al, aka the Bat.
Hey, Mr. Lucar.
That's right. That's right.
The bat
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
house.
I'm just thinking because me and Al, when we were doing the Midnight Society, we did our own. We deep dive some movies. Like we did the American Ninja movies, the first two.
Mm.
Now, what's your take on the American Ninja movies? Were those movies that you liked?
Yeah, actually, I got him. Funny, I got him there because I'm actually going through them again at the moment. Yeah, I mean, I love pretty much all things canon, even though they went really cheap and sort of very low budget with a lot of the films. I mean, I just love the canon, the whole canon name and the whole canon brand and some of their films. The American Ninja, it's like a perfect example of a canon film. It's like only canon could have made those films.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
you're
I love
absolutely
the
right.
first two. I love the first two. The third one was a little bit without Dudikoff, and the fourth one was really cheap as well. But it's still, well, it was entertaining enough. But yeah, I mean, I like them overall. I prefer the other ninja films that Canon did. The Enter the Ninja, Revenge of the Ninja, and especially Ninja Free Domination
Oh my God, Enter the Ninja is classic.
with
That is
Franco Nero. Yeah,
Oh, Franco Nero dubbed. Didn't
yeah.
didn't know that. Didn't know that till a few years ago. But his voice was dubbed, and then
Well, I knew him from the Spaghetti Westerns, so I knew his voice was often dubbed.
uh, uh, Christopher George collecting a paycheck and
Mm,
leaving
one
one
of
of
the
the
best
best
death
death
scenes.
scenes ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my! You just sit there. You know what it is too. You know why he got away with that. This is my impression. The reason why he got away with that, because it would have cost Canon to go. It would have cost Canon to do a
Yeah,
reshoot.
yeah.
To take cut. Let's do that again. Oh no, you're not. We can't afford.
Because that one was actually directed by Menachem Golan himself. Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah,
he was sitting there. He was sitting there with one hand. He's sitting there with the camera, and the other one he's watching the calculator.
yeah.
Uh, that's one of the most. That's one of the most iconic death scenes. And the other one I can think of that equaled it for just pure fun was John Voight in Anaconda.
Ah, yes. Yeah.
Let's see. The Al says the Ninja trilogy is epic. All three. Let's see. And Mayan had Taco Bell yesterday, and that's a good thing to know. That's that's a good thing to know that Mayan had Taco Bell. Uh, um, so okay, so now here you go. You're in your 70s, and you're watching all these action stars. Now my question is, and I've been holding back here. So talk us through Jeff's introduction into westerns.
Ah, yes. So yeah, I guess as a kid, I'm also a bit of a gamer. I mean, I have a couple of PlayStation console. I do a bit of video game playing as well. And one of the first games I remember playing was a game called Red Dead Revolver, which was a Western action adventure game. That was really the first sort of medium that of something of a Western that I was exposed to. And then one night on TV a couple of years later, I guess this is also around the Scarface time, I guess, or 11, 12-year-old, whatever. One night on TV, there was a double bill of A Fistful of Dollars with Clint Eastwood and also Open Range with Kevin Costner.
Hmm.
I think it was the other way. I think Open Range was first, and then it was Fistful of Dollars. Yeah, that was it. Because after Open Range, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to bed. But then A Fistful of Dollars started playing, and I heard that music by Morricone, and the great colorful opening sequence was playing, and I was like, well, I'm not going to bed. I'm going to watch the rest of this. This looked cool. And that was also the first Clint Eastwood film I saw as well. So yeah, Fistful of Dollars and Open Range, those two films really made me a Western fan. Because after that, I was like, okay, Kevin Costner, got to check out some more of his stuff. And Clint Eastwood, I definitely got to check out some more of his stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, Kevin Costner's new movie, Horizon America,
Mm, yeah.
man, taking a beating. It is. It is. Yeah, they're saying that he could lose it could lose $100 million.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's sad because I'm looking forward to that one. I don't think it's out here yet, but I'm definitely going to see that in the cinema when it comes out. But I'm looking forward to it.
they said the mistake was that he took it to cinema. What he should have done was to take it to miniseries and put it on cable or
Mm,
on streaming. That's
yeah.
what they said. It's good, but it's not a film. It's a miniseries.
Okay.
And yeah, and it's taking a ferocious beating. I want to see it myself because Jenna Malone's in there, and I love Jenna Malone, so I'll
Ah,
watch
yes.
her in it. I was bummed to hear that was going to happen. But it was coming. The cons. They said there's a 7 minute epic ovation, and you get thrilled when you hear that because to me, it's like a big Western budget, big budget of Western like that. That's a good thing for everybody, right?
Yeah,
But
definitely.
man,
Yeah.
but if it fails, it's like dropping a rock in a pond. The ripple
Mm,
effect. Like if that fails, how long is that going to set back the Western from mainstream cinema again? It's
yeah.
like no studio is going to go ahead and and
Yeah,
I want
that's
to
the
know your thoughts.
downside. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, what do you feel when you hear someone like the Kevin Costner? I mean, as a movie fan, do you get excited on one hand and then nervous on the other? Like, I really want this movie to work because I love westerns, but at the other side, I mean, even though you have no skin in the game, so to speak, but still, you know that if it does really well, that means because Hollywood is there's anything Hollywood does, it knows eat over and over and over from the same plate. You get excited that hey, if it makes it, then there'll be some more westerns coming. Um,
Mm.
I mean, do you get do you see that as that? Do you get excited when you hear movies like that, and then do you sit there and see how they do it because for the future, or is it just a movie for you? It's just something to watch.
Yeah, I would say with certain movies, definitely for this one, because not only will it affect other westerns being made, but Kevin Costner, I think, wanted to make this a three-part epic trilogy. So there's supposed to be two films after this. That, you know, and if this one doesn't do well, then I don't think there's going to be a chance of the second or the third one being made. So I really hope it does well. I hope the film is great to begin with. I mean, I can't wait to see it. I mean, I checked out the trailer for it a few times. It looks great. It looks like a big epic western. Definitely one that I do want to see on the big screen. So I can't wait for it to come out here. But yeah, I think it's true what you say. I mean, if it doesn't do well, if it is a huge bomb, it will definitely affect other filmmakers. You know, when they want to make a western, and studios will say, not gonna happen. Kevin Costner's one didn't do so well, so no, not gonna happen. I mean, I think a filmmaker like Tarantino or Christopher Nolan, if he wanted to do a western, I mean, they would still get away with it if they did want to do it. Obviously, Tarantino did it twice with Django Unchained and The Hateful Eight. He had successful westerns in last decade. Um, but yeah, it definitely will affect westerns in the future if this one fails, I would say. So I hope it doesn't turn out that way. I hope it gets
Yeah.
hope it is
I hope
modestly
so too, because
successful at least.
I think he's a I think he is definitely like he's done all sorts of genre films himself. But I think of when I think of Kevin Costner, I definitely think of westerns first.
Oh yeah,
With him,
Dances with Wolves is one of the best films ever made. Yeah, yeah.
I love. Yeah, that's a great movie. Open Range is fantastic.
Open Range. Yeah,
And that's probably my favorite Costner film.
yeah.
Definitely
I
right
love that
there.
one. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a great film.
the
What
chemistry with him and Duval is amazing in that film. Yeah.
why can't movies like that, in your opinion, why can't we get movies like that? Not only just from America, but why can't any like filmmakers in the Netherlands? Um, how come filmmakers in the Netherlands can't make movies? Maybe not the American West per se, but as far as their own home. I mean, you guys have a rich history, very
Mm.
rich history. Do you ever wonder how come you have to look to America to get action and adventure heroes and stars, where in your own country there doesn't really seem to be that much interest in developing either directing, either a film industry, film directors or actors. How do you feel about that? I mean, do you wish that there be like if I asked you, could you name me your five favorite Netherlands films? What would you pick? Who would you pick that we wouldn't know anything about? Or is there any movies that are worthy of a top of five pick?
Yeah, well, again, there's in terms of Dutch films, the ones that I've seen are like from the 80s and 90s and stuff. I mean, from the last 2 decades or whatever, I really haven't seen all too much. Another thing is, it's weird to see a film in your own native tongue. I mean, when you grew up watching American films, and obviously in our country, we don't watch our films dubbed like many other European countries. We watch them subtitled, so we still have the original language of the films. Countries like Germany and France, obviously they have their films dubbed into their language, but not the case for us. So it's weird when we watch English films with subtitles, and then there's a film of our own country in our own language. It's like, okay, well, this is in our own. At least we can understand it. But yeah, I don't really have a top five Dutch films. I mean, yeah, Paul Verhoeven before he went to the US and did films like RoboCop and stuff. He did some good films in the Netherlands. Soldier of Orange, that's a good one. Turkish Delight, I think that's Paul Verhoeven. That's a good film by him, a Dutch film. But other than that, yeah, not a lot of great modern films. It's not really a big industry here, I would say. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah,
It is weird.
yeah.
I was thinking some of the movies I know, Kill Mode, um, Molly, We, all Dutch films. And as a matter of fact, Molly is my second favorite film I ever reviewed,
Mm,
and a movie called We was my number one film. I think 2019. Both Dutch films, and both one or two. And I just like I was like, man, how come there's not more coming from there?
mm.
Because I know how much you love film, and I'm just thinking, boy, it'd be really great to like I would, I'm still waiting for you guys to have a night where you discuss Dutch cinema.
Mm.
But it's just something that probably won't happen at this point in time, will it? Because there's just nothing there.
Yeah, there's not really much there. No, no.
Um, Do you? I mean, I know you have your YouTube channel is 101 Bronson, as you see in your on the screen there. Um, I mean, do you like talking to others, other, because I know your action. Do you like going around exploring other countries, foreign films as well? Like either Hong Kong or Indian movies seem to be rising up in popularity. Spanish films. Are you a
Hmm.
big French films or the UK? Are you a big foreign film fan as well, besides the US, or the US pretty much your jam?
Well, yeah, to a certain extent, I do also watch, yeah, quote unquote foreign films. I mean, I love Italian films. I mean, obviously the Italian westerns from the 60s and 70s. I watch them a lot. Spaghetti westerns. I love the giallos. Dario Argento, Lucio Fulci. Um, those kind of films. The Italian horror films I love as well, and strange enough, also the Italian cannibal films, even though they're really gruesome at times. Cannibal Holocaust and stuff like that. I mean, it's a weird film, that one, but it's I can appreciate it for what it is. So yeah, Italy is definitely one of the foreign markets I watch a lot of films of, especially from that era, from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. I watch a lot of Italian films from those decades. The occasional French films. Yeah, Bronson did a few European films. He did a few films in French, so I would say those count as French films. And yeah, definitely also some UK films as well. Not as much as I would like to admit, especially since I have a big following from the UK and a huge amount of friends from the UK. I really have to get into watching a few more British films. Um,
They have quite a
but I
few.
do watch the odd few. Yeah.
They have some really good TV series too.
Yes,
They they have
I've watched a lot of those. Yeah.
they made a lot of great TV series.
Yeah.
I'm looking for one. It's like top 10 of my grail when I look around when I go looking. I'm looking for like the four seasons of Blake Seven. I haven't found it yet, but I'm hoping one of these days I will.
Mm.
Let's go back to the chat because I think we are talking Dutch films over here.
Mm.
The professor mentioned. Let's see. See, Maya says Jeff has a wonderful old soul, and his channel is like a treasure. Yeah,
Yeah. Thank you, Mia.
your collection videos were on fire. I really I was watching what you had, and I was just I was so impressed. I mean, your collection is really strong, and I really
Thank you.
appreciate that you shared that with us too. That was definitely a highlight. See, the Dutch film buff is rolling in
Ramon.
hot,
Yes.
and he says we had Brimstone.
Yes. Yeah, good Western, Brimstone. I think, yeah, that's from a Dutch director. I think they even filmed that like the old spaghetti westerns. I think they filmed that in Spain, in Almeria, where they shot a lot of the Italian westerns. Um, yeah, that's a good one. That's a good example, Ramon. I actually totally forgot about that one. That's a great film. Yeah.
My first Dutch film you mentioned too. My first Dutch film that I can remember watching was Soldier of Orange.
Mm.
I saw that way back when it came out. That was my introduction to Rutger Hauer.
Yes, he was in
Um,
that. Yeah, true.
yep. Let's see, the original The Lift. Yeah, that's one
The
thing.
Lift,
That's
Dick
one thing
Maas.
about
That's a
Dutch
good
films.
film.
We do
Yeah.
have a bad habit of remaking Dutch films and fucking them up so bad. I apologize to you from America for that. I don't know
Mm.
how they managed to screw it over so bad, but
Yeah, that
the
one got
original.
remade. Yeah.
Let's see. Yep, Soldier Orange character Spruce. What's this? The Vanishing. What's a
Oh,
terrific movie.
Spolos. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and then of course we remade it and fucked it up. Uh, the Assault, and Amsterdam, and I think isn't there one
Yeah.
called like isn't there one that you did called Speak No Evil about the families in the car? I think that's Dutch as well, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
that does ring a bell. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
actually, a lot of
That was,
films mentioned are from the director Dick Maas. He's actually my favorite Dutch director.
okay.
Amsterdam, The Lift. One of my favorite of his is Flutter, which I don't think it translates to anything in English, but it's sort of like a Dutch Married with Children sort of thing, where it's like a very low class antisocial family that
Okay.
sort of moves into a fancy neighborhood, and they made like 3 films out of that, and like a TV show that ran for like a few seasons. That's
Okay.
also all by Dick Maas. Yeah, that's a big thing here in the Netherlands. Yeah, he's probably my favorite Dutch director, right next to I would say Paul Verhoeven. Yeah.
Yeah, Paul Verhoeven, he's awesome. He of course everybody knows who Paul Verhoeven is. Starship Troopers, Showgirls,
Yeah. Basic
Basic
Instinct,
Instinct,
RoboCop. Yeah.
RoboCop. I mean, you name it. Yeah, he's got his fingerprints. He's got his fingerprints in a lot of classic films. We are heading back to the West here in a second. We're not done with that by any stretch. As you can tell, not only does Jeff like westerns, because Charles Bronson cut his teeth as a western star, um, but of course, of course, with me, have Cheetah Will View. I still can't get
Exactly.
over. I still can't get over. You don't have any have gun will. I'm
Yeah.
so I don't know how that happened. How does that happen to a fan such as yourself?
Well, I do attribute that to the fact that it's always movies over TV shows for me. I mean, I like the occasional TV shows, but I can never really get hooked into them as much as I do with movies. I know with TV shows, I watch them for like a few seasons and I sort of slowly lose interest, except for a handful. Um, yeah, I guess that's it. I mean, it's mostly movies for me, and when I can, I pick up the occasional odd few TV shows.
But you've never seen Have Gun Will Travel.
I've seen a few episodes of it. I've seen a few episodes of it on TV,
Okay,
but I haven't picked up a season of it.
we gotta fix that. I don't know how we're gonna do that, but we gotta, yeah. Man says Speak No Evil is very good. That's the movie I was thinking of, Speak No Evil. And of course, what do? They give it to Bloomhouse
Yeah.
sometimes do you ever watch a trailer? You ever watch a trailer of a movie like from a bad studio, or you just know the movie's bad? Do you ever just watch a movie or a trailer and just shake your head, going like, just no?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the
Definitely.
what's the worst? Tell me some of the worst movies that you've hated, like like you just did not like at all. Because I know, I seems to me like I think if I put anything in front of you, you would watch it. But there's got to be some films where you just said, "Yeah, I like you, Patrick, but fuck no, I'm not watching that shit."
Well, yeah, I am pretty open to a lot of films. I mean, I pretty much would watch anything.
Mhm.
Um,
True cinephile, respect,
yeah,
respect.
except for, I mean, I do have always, I mean, me and Gareth have this sort of ongoing little inside joke, little banner going on about me not having watched Paint Your Wagon yet with Clint Eastwood and Lee Marvin, which is a Western musical. And he says, well,
What
it's a
is
Western, you
he
got
giving?
to watch it. But I'm like, it's a musical. No.
He's giving you a lip about not watching a movie.
Yeah.
This is a guy this is a guy who watched Point Blank and thinks it's an action movie.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh. See, the see, let me go back here to Dutch film buff. Antonius Line. I've heard of that movie. I haven't watched it, but I have heard about it. Antonius Line. I think it's a clothesline, if I'm not mistaken.
Hmm.
Um, Character and The Assault are Dutch movies that won the Academy Awards for Best Foreign Movie. You should
Uh-huh.
check those out, Jeff. Yeah, yeah, that's right. I have heard of Tony's Line. Not heard of The Assault. Let's see. Al says, I'm the same on TV shows for the most part. Don't do it for me.
Hmm.
Yeah, but I know for Al, I know Have Gun Will Travel. He loves that one.
Hmm.
That I can tell you about. Let's see. And probably the Wild Wild West. Let's see.
Oh, yeah.
Going to paint your wagon. Going to paint it good. Going to use that base paint as you should. Now, if I'm not mistaken, paint your wagon, doesn't it have like Anne Margaret in it?
I think it's Clint Eastwood, Lee Marvin, and oh, what's her face? I think Gene
Shirley
Seberg.
Oh,
I
Gene
think she,
Stieber.
yeah, I
Oh,
think she's in it. Yeah.
wow, she's beautiful. Yeah, okay. Are you into musicals?
No, only the odd few I like. I mean, I like Grease with John Travolta. That's probably my
Right.
favorite.
Okay.
But other than that, I really never really got into them. I don't like the films where just out of the blue, people just sort of break into song. It's like it's very immersion breaking for me. It's like, okay, breaking the fourth wall. Like all of a sudden, you and I are talking, and now we start singing. It's weird to me. I
Yeah.
never really got around to that. Never really got
No,
around to
I
that
didn't either.
concept. Yeah.
That's what really ruined Blazing Saddles for me. I love
Mm.
Blazing
Yeah.
Saddles for the last 10 minutes of it, and then I just hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. It's just like, dude,
Yeah.
how could you not have come up with a conclusion to your movie? And that's just like the most sloppiest, most laziest ending. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. So let's go back to the Western because we are still in Western time. Uh, are you more of a Western fan than an action fan? I mean, the Westerns movie, if you had a choice between watching action or Westerns, what would you pick?
Well, I think they sort of go together because you do have a lot of action in the westerns. You have shootouts and punch ups and stuff. Um, yeah, a western, I guess, sort of what differentiates westerns from action films is just the time setting and the locations. So obviously with westerns, you have a lot of deserts and barren towns, ghost towns, and stuff like that. Obviously, with a modern film, you have modern buildings or whatever, and cars and stuff like that, and airplanes, whatever. Yeah, they sort of go together for me. I mean, obviously with Clint Eastwood when he made his jump from westerns to modern action star. The first one of the first ones he did after the westerns that he did in Italy, the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and those films. One of the first ones he did when he got back to America was Coogan's Bluff, which was the first film that he did directed by Don Siegel. And that was actually sort of a cross between a Western going into a modern sort of thing. That was sort of like a crossover, I guess, where
It was
Eastwood
sort of like
started as a sheriff in Arizona, and then he went to New York. So it started like very Western, and then it went big city. It's like he made the jump right there from like cowboy
they
to
did
Dirty Harry. Yeah.
they did a TV series based on that. But they changed the character's name. They called him McCloud, and that was the one
Ah,
that got it.
yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, do you think? I mean, I look at spaghetti westerns two ways. One, I look at it as it really it really saved a lot of careers. I mean, it really
Mm,
saved. At least, I mean, think about all the stars that went over there that we don't know them. Like back in the studio system, a lot of the stars they really didn't get a chance to shine that much because like Clint Eastwood
yeah.
or Lee Marvin or Lee Van Cleef or what have you,
Yeah.
because they're all in the contract. So they had to get out, they had to get out of that underneath the studio's thumb in order to become stars. They had to leave this country in order to do that. I mean, if you really think about it, everybody there became a star because they went to Italy.
Mm,
Um,
yeah.
it always comes back to another question. It's like, what the hell happened to Italian cinema? I mean,
Mm,
it's such a rich history, and now you really don't hear that much about it here. But do you think it's safe to say that American action hero, westerns and action movies really owe a debt of gratitude to Italy for giving those actors, stories to act on, a chance for them to get their star built up so they can open up films over here?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, especially in the case of people like that you mentioned, like Clint Eastwood and Lee Van Cleef. I mean, Van Cleef before he did for a few dollars more, he had a few bit parts in westerns. Obviously, he was in High Noon and films like that, where he was sort of the second baddie from the left. But then he went to Italy and he starred in for a few dollars more alongside Clint Eastwood. And he starred in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly alongside Clint Eastwood. And then Italy really made him a star. They saw he had a great face, a great presence. They were like, this guy's not a bit player. This guy is a star. And obviously, he starred in plenty of Italian westerns after that. And with Clint Eastwood, the thing was he was under contract with Rawhide. And during the, I guess, summer vacation or whatever, when they weren't filming Rawhide, he wasn't allowed to do films in the US. But he was allowed to do films outside of the US. So he took this offer to go to Italy and go to Spain and make a western for a few weeks, based on a Japanese samurai film. Obviously Yojimbo was the genesis for Fistful of Dollars. Akira Kurosawa's Yojimbo. And so Eastwood was like, yeah, let's take a chance. Let's do it. Why not? What have I got to lose? So yeah, that's how Eastwood went to Italy and made that film with Sergio Leone. Yeah, I would say Italy definitely made a lot of careers. Even Burt Reynolds tried his hand. He went over there and made an Italian western to sort of follow on from Clint. That one wasn't as successful, but I still love that film. But it's called Navajo, by the way. It's a very good film, actually, even though Burt Reynolds always hated it. But yeah, no, Italy definitely it made a lot of stars. That's for sure. I mean, Franco Nero. A lot of people got their career started by spaghetti westerns. Absolutely. Yeah.
It was funny, I know that, Burt Reynolds wasn't the biggest Western guy, yet a Western actually helped launch his career.
Mm.
He starred in, I think, 4 or 5 years on Gunsmoke.
Yes. Yes, he did. Yeah.
And I think that helped launch him too. And yeah, that's interesting. Um, what is your favorite spaghetti Western? I mean, or how about this? What's your favorite non Clint Eastwood spaghetti Western?
Oh well, my favorite western of all time, which is a spaghetti western, is actually Once Upon a Time in the West with Charles Bronson,
Okay.
which is 1968. Another Sergio Leone film. He did that one right after he did the three films with Clint Eastwood. Once Upon a Time in the West with Charles Bronson, Henry Fonda, Jason Robards, Claudia Cardinal. That is my second favorite movie of all time as well, right after Scarface.
That
Uh,
intro, that
that
intro is
intro,
one of the
yeah,
best. I
yeah,
mean, those were yeah, that's a classic entry.
yeah,
That's got to be like top 10 entry of any hero in any movie on any movie.
absolutely.
Coming out harmonica.
Yeah,
That's
harmonica. You bought a horse for me? Yeah.
no, you made a mistake. You brought three too many.
Yeah, that's it. Looks like my
Man
shy
says,
on horse. Yeah.
Man says your T-shirt is awesome. Let's see. Jim says spaghetti westerns and the Corman Factory launched so many careers in the '60s and '70s. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Yeah, yeah, that's for sure. I don't know. Sure, I'm not sure if. Well, I mean, you'll know this. Did like Marvin or Van Cleef or Eastwood? Did they ever do any Roger Corman movies?
Ooh, I don't think Eastwood did, although he might have. Actually, no, I don't think he had. He done a lot of B pictures in the 50s, like Tarantula and stuff, where he was, had a very small part, but not a Roger Corman film.
Hmm.
Van Cleef might have. Van Cleef might have. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, I think Van Cleef
Uh,
might have.
Man says the only spaghetti I know is the one I get from Olive Garden. Uh, all right, so let's go. Let's go. I don't know about you guys, but I'm enjoying the Western angle of it. We'll get to uh, well, we'll get to an action question right here because I want to know this. I want to
Hmm.
know. I want to know your 10 favorite female stars. The ten that really like. Hell yeah, that's my girl right there. Now
Hmm.
you could actually do nine because I already know your number one. So you can go ahead. You can already go and do 10 through two. I already know the first one. So give us your. Am I wrong though? Am I wrong?
Well,
Okay.
I think you got a good idea there about my number one, but
All right. So all right.
um,
Let's hear your 10 favorite. Let's hear your 10 favorite. Because we got to give the ladies some time here. So
hmm.
tell us your 10 favorite female actresses.
Well, obviously, yeah, Cynthia Rothrock. I love her to death.
Oh, it's rocking.
Yeah, Michelle Yeoh, she's fantastic.
Digging it.
Zoe Bell, you mentioned her before. Zoe, I love Zoe Bell. Trying to think, Vivica Fox, I think she's fantastic as well. God, there's so many. So we're just talking action as female action stars, or just
Oh,
general
yeah,
actresses?
just your 10. Like if you had 10 girls to watch on TV,
Okay.
action or anything else.
Well, yeah,
Vivica Fox is a good call.
there's a lot. Pam Grier, I love Pam Grier to death as well. I absolutely love Pam Grier. Whew. Well, obviously, if we're talking actresses, Meryl Streep, I love her. I mean, she doesn't do action, but I love her as an actress. Um, Talia Shire from the Rocky films, I love her as Adrian.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think she really did much outside the Rocky films, did she?
Yeah, she was in the Godfather films as well,
Okay.
and Godfather 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, just as Adrian. I mean, she's immortalized as Adrian for me. I mean,
Right.
that's a role of a lifetime for her, definitely. Just like Rocky is for Stallone. Um, let's see. Don't know how many. I do have a soft spot for Brigitte Nielsen. You know, speaking of Stallone, I'm
Okay.
just looking through my left and I see the Cobra poster. I see her name. I was like, yeah, Brigitte Nielsen. Let's give her a shout because I recently watched Beverly Hills Cop 2 again as well, in
She was
preparation
great
for the
in
new
that.
one coming out. Yeah,
Yeah, she was
she's
great.
great in that. I think
Do you think
that's
that she got blacklisted from Hollywood after the thing with Stallone blew up? Do you think that?
could be. Yeah,
Because I
could
mean,
very well be.
she was actually pretty good. She was
Mm.
actually better than she was better than people realize.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, I actually liked her in Red Sonja and Cobra and Rocky Four. I thought she was great in those. And Beverly Hills Cop 2, that might actually be my favorite. That might
yeah.
actually be my favorite of hers, performance wise. I think she was really great in that. So yeah, I would give it to Brigitte as well. I do like seeing her and stuff. There's many. I mean, let's talk some Bond girls. I mean, Sophie Marceau. I know you're gonna like,
Hell
her.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
the number
I
one
love
right
her.
there for us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. There you go. I love
that's our
Sophie
favorite
Marceau.
Bond girl. That's my favorite Bond girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, her and Haley Berry and
Mm.
Rosamund Pike.
Yeah,
Jesus,
Rosamund Pike. Die Another Day.
Pierce Brosnan had the babes.
He was
He
a
got
lucky
the
guy.
babes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he might have, and he also got to work with Michelle Yao. I'm
Yeah,
going,
Michelle. Yeah.
if it comes down to it, I mean, as far as the who got to work with the hottest girls, I definitely have to give it to Pierce Brosnan. I mean, that guy
He had
got
a
all
good
the.
selection right there, definitely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Say what you say about the films, but when it comes down to the Bond girls, yeah,
Mm,
there's no one touching
absolutely.
Brosnan. Uh, all right. Pop quiz hot shots. Who wins? Who wins in a gunfight? Bronson, Eastwood, or Franco Nero? It doesn't
Ooh.
matter because Richard Boone would kill them all.
Well, depends what sort of gunfight we're talking about. If Franco Nero was in his Django part and he has the Gatling gun, I would give it
uh,
to Franco Nero if he has the Gatling gun. But
well, you know what though? But Van Cleef could handle the Gatling gun too. Didn't he handle one in Sabata?
mm, yes, in Sabata, yes, he did. Yeah.
Showing off my Italian Western knowledge here. Bet you didn't know I knew that. See, I did my homework. Uh,
Yeah, it's a good call.
but actually, the fastest draw, the fastest gunfighter in Hollywood, it wasn't Eastwood, it wasn't Bronson, it wasn't Marvin, it wasn't Richard Boone, it wasn't John Wayne.
I think it was Van Cleef,
And
wasn't it?
no, it was a
Huh?
gentleman named Peter Brown who starred in the Lawman with John Russell.
Oh.
Um, and that was I want to say that was with Josie Wales, right?
John Russell, he was in Pale Rider with Clint. Yeah.
Okay, all right, okay.
Yeah.
Now I got a story for you for that. So, but Peter Brown played the deputy in Lawman for 4 years, and they did a contest. They did a quick draw, and Peter Brown won, and he won rather convincingly. He was, but of course Richard Boone wasn't there, but a lot of the other big stars at the time, and they did the quick draw, and Peter Brown won. Uh,
Oh.
as far as Pale Rider goes, I had a hard time. I got to tell you, What's one of your movies with your stars? Because I got a couple here that were really hard for you to watch. You know, like they were just tough to watch in terms of emotions. Like you felt a really emotional attachment to either the character or the
Mhm.
actor or the movie. What are some of the movies that you watch, maybe by yourself or with a close friend that actually brings out the emotion in you?
That's a good question. I actually don't admit it a lot, but I'm a pretty emotional guy. I mean, I'm pretty much Terminator 2 always does it for me at the end. T2. I don't know why you cry. And the waterworks start going with me as well when he says that.
Yeah.
Um, there's a lot. I mean, actually, there's a lot of movies that got me emotionally.
I'm
Some
gonna
yeah,
ask
with
that in the chat. I want to ask
there's
that
a
in the
lot.
chat. I want to know
Mm.
what movie. Let's see. Let's see. Sean says, "Paint your wagon." It's just favorite Eastwood. I think Gareth paid them off to come in here and rag on you. Let's see. What's the most dangerous job? Being a brown shirt from Star Trek, probably a red shirt from Star Trek, or Dirty Harry's new partner. Yeah, a brown shirt
Oh
would be
yeah.
Firefly. A brown shirt would be Firefly, though. So you weren't
Ah.
wrong, just the wrong series. Or the Dirty Harry's partner, new partner. Yeah. Yeah. That was you know what? I remember that movie, The Enforcer, that where
Yeah.
Tom Daly dude,
Yeah.
people say Dirty Harry Callahan didn't have emotions.
Yeah.
I challenge that. I challenge that. I mean, you watch him with Tyne Daly,
Yeah.
and yeah, you don't tell me that Harry Callahan didn't his heart didn't break a little bit that watching
Oh
that.
yeah, definitely. That's actually a film that I watched recently again. Yeah, you can definitely see that he's affected by that. And yeah, yeah.
See Jim's movie channel. I saw Guardians of the Galaxy Part Two when I was 50 years old, theatrically, and when Yondu sacrificed himself, I wept like a baby. I can get it. You know what? I heard sniffles when in the theater when that scene came on.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm like that with Gettysburg. Then to Gettysburg when the Richard Jordan gets to the wall and he gets shot and he's dying, man, I lose
Oh
it
yeah.
every time. Yeah, I lose it every time. Yeah, no problem. But what about you guys? What are some of the movies that get you emotional, that get your feels? Definitely drop definitely let's see man loves the Arnold quotes too. Paint your wagon. Now I got to watch that movie, damn it. Uh, uh, um, all right, so let's go back to I know you mentioned you like some comedies too. Um, and so, what are some of the movies that because you can't watch action all the time, right? Is it safe to say you cannot watch action and you cannot watch westerns all the time? It's like people watching Scream here all the time in the horror community, and they don't watch anything else. It's like you just can't sit there and just watch that over and over and over. So, what are some of the movies? What are some of your favorite movies that you watch that are not action and that are not a western?
Hmm. Um, that's a good question. Yeah, well, I watch a lot of dramas as well. I do like good drama. Looking there, there's my Pacino collection over there. I mean, I'm seeing Dog Day Afternoon, Serpico, all those good films. Scent of a Woman. Um, I love those films. Yeah, you gotta spice it up every now and then. You gotta, variety is the spice of life, obviously. So yeah, to take a break, I usually watch, a comedy or a horror film or a giallo or slasher, whatever. Just mix it up a little bit. Yeah, I would say usually I watch. I go to the Italian cinema and I watch like a good giallo or stuff. I love popping in a giallo every now and then. Yeah.
Man, we're getting some really good answers about the emotional question. See, Sean says a film that makes me cry, I guess, would be Philadelphia with Tom Hanks.
Oh
Great movie.
yes. Yeah.
Mayanne will steal Magnolias. Hell yes.
Oh yeah.
Anybody has a heartbeat. Anybody that's had a heartbeat, you cannot tell me that when Sally Field screamed that your heart did not break with it. Um, See, Jim's movie channel. My dad used to say that the only two movies that ever made him cry was Old Yeller and Brian's Song.
Oh
Wow,
yeah. Yeah.
those are
Brian Song,
powerful.
that's a good one. Yeah.
Brian's Song is great. Uh, Mayanne Lorenzo's Oil. I think that was with Leonardo, if I'm not mistaken. Uh,
Oh.
let's see. Don't forget Carlito's Way.
Yes, Carlito's Way. That's an emotional one as well by the end. Yeah.
Um, what, okay, I know you mentioned you liked Scarface as one of as one of your favorite movies.
Yeah,
How
my
would you
favorite.
compare
Yeah.
how would you compare Scarface to Heat though?
The Heat.
Man, my favorite Pacino movie. I got to tell you, my favorite Pacino movie is probably Insomnia.
Oh, I do love Insomnia. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
I
that's coming up on the
but
review series that I'm
Heat
doing.
Heat
Mm.
is man. It's one of those movies where you're watching it. there's one half you're watching. For me, it's like there's half of it is like this is just absolutely, this is amazing. It's an amazing film work, and it's badass. And you see him running around, and you see Al Pacino. He gets, it's probably definitely Al Pacino's best movie. I know they say The Godfather, but man, I just look at him in Heat. I got to go with that. Um, but let me ask you this too. So, do you think that some films go beyond the violence? Like some movies are violent, but do you feel some movies go beyond that? Gratuitously? Because I know, like watching Heat, and it's like it's a badass scene, but at the same time, it's half of you saying, "Man, they seem to be glorifying it." There's like they've
Hmm.
drawn it out, and it's like look at all the weapons and everything else. Do you feel like sometimes that American films go beyond what should be portrayed on screen as far as the violence? Do you feel like sometimes they instigate it,
Hmm.
violence in film?
Well, I definitely think there are films that sort of overdo it and go a bit over the top with violence. I mean, obviously Scarface has been accused for being a bit glorified and going over the top and stuff. But again, it
I
was the
actually think
'80s.
I
A lot of
actually think
stuff.
Scar.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think Scarface is a terrific anti-drug movie. I think it's a
Mm.
terrific. I think it is.
That's how I see it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I see it too. It's like I don't see anybody worth. I'm not. There's no glorification. He dies a really ugly, and
Yeah.
he deserves everything he's getting.
Absolutely. Yeah.
He is not
It
a
is a great
hero.
anti-drug. It's really like kids. If you want to do, you want to become a drug dealer or whatever, watch this film. You don't want to become it afterwards. I'll tell you, because it
No.
only ends two ways: you go to jail or you die. Those are the only two options. How it's going to end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not gonna be able to sit there and enjoy the bounties of your ill-gotten loot. Too many people want that. They want that crown on the head.
Yeah. Exactly.
Um, I know people look at Scarface. That's a badass movie, but you know what? Go
Yeah.
back and look at the ones James Cagney.
Oh
I think
yeah.
that one. I think he burns alive in that movie, if I'm not mistaken. Right?
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah. He gets burned alive in that movie at the end. That's yeah. Uh, the Scarface is my favorite Pacino movie because it's so damn entertaining. Yeah, it might be. It's entertaining to some respects, but boy, oh boy, I mean, he's just and the thing was when he first started out, he had all the good intentions. He just wanted to come
Yeah.
over here. He came over from Cuba. He wanted a new life. And next thing you know, he ends up destroying thousands of others, and he destroys his own.
He just
And
yeah.
me as a
He didn't follow the rules. He got high in his own supply. Yeah. Robert
It's
Loggia warned him. Yeah.
definitely a cautionary tale. I was talking
Yeah.
about some of the movies. So we're talking about Schwarzenegger. About some of the movies that draw out the emotions. And because we're talking about him and Collateral Damage, and and of course Rambo, right? I mean,
Mm.
God,
Yeah. First Blood. Yeah.
Yeah, First Blood is just
That's another one for me. Yeah.
it's gotta be Stallone's most emotional. I mean, I saw the Rocky movies and I loved them, but when it came emotional, I don't know. I
Yeah,
think the
that
first
speech
two,
at the end, it's one of my favorite moments ever from definitely from Stallone. It's
and
fantastic.
you definitely feel it.
Yeah.
The second one seemed a little bit cobbled on, like we're expecting that, but
Yeah.
the first one, I don't know. Maybe you know this or not. Did he improv? Did he improv that, or was that scripted? Do you know? Do you know?
Well, I think he did writing on the film as well, so he might have wrote that scene. But yeah, Stallone's a great writer. I mean, he wrote all the Rockies and stuff. But I think that's all in because I've read the book that it's based on, the David Morale book. Obviously, that scene is not in the book because the book ends with Rambo dying.
Yes.
That was also the original attempt of the film. They were originally going to kill off Rambo at the end, but then test screenings were like, "Oh my God, no, we like this character, let him live." So they decided to make him live, and obviously they made a lot of sequels after that. So it was a good cash business for them, good cash decision. But originally he was supposed to die. So I think Sly might have wrote that entire scene himself. He came up with that, I'm sure. Yeah.
No. Me and Gareth, we watched Sahara,
Mm.
but
Yeah, I
that
saw
was
that.
just
Yeah.
like, yeah. So I'm thinking, David Morale, he did not approve any of those beyond the Rambos.
No.
They asked him over and over and over, "You can bring back Rambo," and he says no. He never did. Never brought it back. I
Yeah.
saw Rambo. The last time I saw Rambo in a story, he did a Morale did a collaboration with another mystery writer, and he brought back Rambo, but he brought him back as a ghost.
Mm,
Yeah, he did not write another. And that's a true story. David Morale did not write another Rambo novel after that.
yeah.
He said his story was over with. And he died in the first one.
Yeah.
But I gotta admit, I was actually, whereas I totally can respect both Cussler and Morale. I mean, what if you sat down with them for lunch? If you sat down with them for lunch and you sit there and you're saying, "I love the characters that you made," I'm a huge, massive, I'm a huge Dirk Pitt, I'm a huge Rambo fan, I'm a huge, what would you tell those writers? How would you get them to understand how much their creations have meant to you, and how would you get them to give their characters back to the big screen? Like, don't take your characters away from us. We want, and I would like to see David Moore. I would have liked to see him write another Rambo story, but he was saying that he didn't want to do that. How would you
Mm.
tell him? How would you convince him to at least consider writing another Rambo story, or Cussler, like, hey, do another Dirk Pitt movie. Don't take your book away from us. We fans love what you do with them. We want to see them on screen. How would you convince them? What would you tell them?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, with Dave Morrell, I think Morrell actually did write one of the novelizations from one of the sequels. I think for Rambo 2, if I'm not mistaken, or it was the third one. He did one of the novelizations. I'm pretty sure of that. But again, I think he has pretty much said like the Rambo of like Rambo 2 and beyond. That's like Stallone's Rambo, and First Blood Rambo. That's my Rambo. Um, so he definitely does own the Rambo character post First Blood. Um, yeah, that's a good question because I think Rambo was pretty much done. I mean, after Last Blood from 2019, the last film, which I actually like it. A lot of people don't like that film, but I actually did not mind it. I thought it was pretty good, and I saw it in cinema actually twice. I thought it was a fitting ending, and not as great of an ending as Rambo 4 was, the fourth one. That one was a great finale, but I thought it was a fitting ending for the character in terms of the story. He sort of went full circle. He tried to live with his loved ones. It didn't work out. Now he's all alone, and what is he going to do now? He's going to hit the road again, just like in First Blood. Um, so yeah, it's sort of a full circle ending. How would Dave Morrell bring it? I mean, yeah, I think David Morales said in the books, Rambo's dead. Obviously the first book ended with his death. Would be hard to bring it back.
These
Maybe a TV miniseries, maybe something like that could be interesting.
I mean, I think he did one or two things. He got paid. And he says, if you're gonna give me money to use the character, that's fine. I'm gonna
Mm,
make money off of it. That's fine. But as far as bringing him back for anything further on,
yeah, I
no.
don't think no,
I think he
no.
stayed true to his principles for that. And I don't mind personally. I don't mind him getting paid. I didn't mind Clive Cussler getting paid.
Yeah,
I was like, hell yeah, you created a great hero. I just wish that you wouldn't have been so anal about it. Like, dude,
yeah,
you have to know the game. Like any, I mean, it's frustrating.
yeah,
You see a book that you really like, or a property you really like, and you go like, hell yeah, and next thing you know, the character who you loved or admired or read, they're not the reason, they're not the person you fell in love with when you read it or watched it, and
yeah.
it can be extremely frustrating. Let me go back to the chat real quick because it is popping here. Let's see. Let's see. See, don't forget Lorenzo Oil with Nick Nolte and Susan Sarandon. I've heard of that movie. I just have not watched it. Let's see. Professor says he's a grouchy man whose heart has been broken many a time, but I still get choked up with goddamn Coco. A scene with the daughter and the grandmas break me. Yeah,
Hmm.
I'm like that with Up will break me up too.
Oh yeah.
Yes, Jim. See, how do you feel about someone from Sorcerer from 1977? I think it's William Friedkin's
Oh, that's
best movie
freaking.
ever made.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an amazing movie. Oh Lord, that's an amazing movie. That is. I remember watching that. I remember seeing the previews for that. Man, that was a great movie. Roy Scheider.
Oh yeah.
Uh, yeah, William Friedkin was just an amazing director.
Yeah. Definitely.
Everybody loves Coco. Serpico would be my favorite Al Pacino film. Yes, that he did a great job in Serpico. Let's see. Hi, Betty. Betty saying hello, hello to everybody. Thank you for coming in.
Hey, Betty.
I do too, man. It reminds me too much of my grandma, and I really miss my grandma. That's very sweet, Professor. Tony killed his best friend Manny, so he didn't deserve to live. Yeah, there you go. Uh,
Hmm.
the, Scarface is my favorite Pacino film because it's so damn entertaining and cautionary. I would definitely say cautionary.
Yeah.
And Jim says too, it's a cautionary tale, but it's so over the top and 80s
Yeah.
excess. Yeah,
Absolutely.
you know what? Maybe I think the 80s saw. I think people saw the 80s as in excess because they were tired of the 70s. Or in the 70s, every damn movie was
It was
ending with
bleak and gritty. Yeah.
oh my god! To me, it's like name your top 10 70s films with a freaking happy ending. Good luck.
Yeah.
Let me know next year when you're done, or if you found them. See, the speech from First Blood is the best moment of acting Stallone has ever done. I agree with that 100%. Um, yeah, and of course he got elevated by Brian Dennehy too, because Brian
Oh
Dennehy is
yeah.
an actor, and Richard Crenna.
And Richard Crenna. Yeah. Absolutely.
Like I said, I gotta say, I mean, man, I love Rocky, and I love Rocky too, and but it's it's sort of like I still gotta go with First Blood though. It's first my Stallone.
Hmm.
Um, I think with Arnold Schwarzenegger, Maggie is an amazing film too. Ah,
Oh yeah.
he
Yeah, that
is.
was a quite good one. Quite underrated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jackie Chan, the foreigner. Good lord.
Oh yeah,
I
with
mean,
Pierce Brosnan as well. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Lee Van Cleef, the master.
Oh yeah. The master.
Oh Lord Everest. Yeah, I was wondering if I could get away with that. Stallone was Stallone is amazing, and hey Larry, how are you? Yeah, Stallone is rocking it in the Tulsa King, except that his
Ah
mouth is
yes.
in a little bit in trouble. He's running his mouth about some of the extras and caught some heat.
Mm.
Let's see, everybody's saying, let's see, Nighthawks is criminally underrated Stallone movie.
Yeah. The Dark Hour.
Yeah,
That's a great one. Yeah.
yeah, that's one. I think the only time I ever hear about it is when they have a boutique sale, and then someone will mention that. Yeah. So what movies are you looking forward to seeing the rest of the summer? I mean, have our movies from here in the United States have they landed in the Netherlands like The Fall Guy and The Bad Boys and stuff like that?
Oh
Are
yeah.
they
Yeah. Yeah.
okay?
Yeah, we've got them. Actually, they want to see Bad Boys, the next Bad Boys, because I actually do like that series of films. So I wanted to see. I haven't got around to it yet, but I do want to see it in cinema. I think it's still playing, so I might go see it this week. I mean, since the Oscars, I mean, I sort of had a bit of a sort of. I was sort of turned off by Will Smith. I don't really support him that much anymore. But
Yeah,
Bad Boys, I would still be willing to give a shot. I've heard it's quite good anyway. Yeah, the
that was
Fall
a
Guy. I
horrible
mean,
that was a horrible thing. That
hmm,
really was. I mean, you rarely ever get a chance to see someone destroy a career like that,
yeah,
or at least give it a good effort. I mean, I just
yeah.
it's like
I lost pretty much all respect for him
oh yeah.
after that moment. Yeah,
I don't know what I really truly don't know what he was thinking about that. That was just absolutely man, I wish he was drunk.
yeah,
If he'd been drunk, I could understood that.
yeah. But he was
I
sober.
really could have, but
Yeah,
he didn't. He wasn't. And he totally just he allowed himself to get played and I'm just thinking, wow, I just would have never thought I'd see that from Will Smith.
Yeah.
Um, so who are your current favorite actors right now? This will be my last question to you. Who are your favorite currently? Not. We already know about the actors you loved before, but what five actors and actresses today, right now, working today, are the ones you keep an eye on?
Ooh. Um, well, again, that goes back to I don't really watch a lot of modern films. Let's see. I like that gal. Oh, what's her name? The redhead. Amy Adams.
Okay.
Yeah, I like her. I like her as an actress. Um,
Did you see the remake of The Magnificent Seven with Denzel?
yeah, I did. Yeah.
What about the girl in that?
Oh, who was that girl? Um, who was she again?
Uh, are you talking about Haley Bennett? Yeah, that's it. That's Haley Bennett.
Ah, yes. Yeah, I'm just looking her up right now. Yeah.
That's my girl right there. So I had to throw her in there to you. I sort of. So
Yeah, no,
we have
I like
another
her.
Haley Bennett. We have another Haley Bennett fan.
Yeah, I like her.
Yeah, she's awesome. She
Yeah.
really is. Um, you guys, that's the girl who I talked about on Pug's documentary, Matt's
Ah,
documentary.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got you there. So okay, so Amy Adams and there is one girl that we have not talked about that could be a great action star and has tried to do it. I'm not sure if she succeeded or not, but there is another action actress that could be considered Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Ah, yes. Yeah.
She did
I
that.
can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, she did. I think she did it called Lucy or something like that,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
she played
Lucy. That rings a
a
bell.
yeah. Okay, so we got Haley Bennett and I feel like I sort of tricked you into that one. But I'm gonna take it. Uh, let's see. Jim says he didn't like the remake of Magnificent Seven. Great cast, but totally unnecessary. You know what though? But I had Haley Bennett in it, Jim, so I can't dismiss it. Um, but I will say that as far as the Magnificent Seven go, the TV series trumps all. It's better than the movies.
Hmm.
Any movie, and I'm talking about the Yul Brenner one with the Queen.
Yeah, with
I think
Bronson.
I think the TV series is better.
Ah.
Yeah, I'll die on that hill. See, see. Okay, so we got Mary Elizabeth, we got Haley, and we got Amy Adams. So give me two more girls.
Two more girls. I would say Cynthia, but obviously she's not from today, from this era. But um, that's a good question. I'm trying to think actually. Uh, give me some examples. I can't think right now.
Yeah, that's isn't that something? Because it's funny that we're actually seeing something right now with an actor. There's a popular actor right now, actually probably two, with two actors right now I can think of that are being shaped as old-fashioned movie stars. Like the studios put them in the right vehicles and the right time with the right publicity and
Hmm.
everything else. Austin Butler and Glenn Powell. You don't see
Ah.
star making. You don't see star makers like that anymore. You don't see those guys. That's from the '60s. 50s and '60s. They've been put in the right movies at the right time and with the right PR, and now they're really they're on their way to becoming major stars. I mean, Hitman, if it had been at the theater for the whole run, probably would have been like this third or fourth biggest hit right now. As far as the summer goes. Um, I'm just thinking, five stars right now. Like I said, this is what I'm talking about. No one has built up into any young action stars.
Hmm.
There's nobody I can think of. All the time we always get Bill Skarsgård. He can't
Yeah.
do everything. but there he is. It's like as soon as we get an action movie mentioned, the first thing you hear, it's either him or Jake Gyllenhaal, or it's just like there's nobody else. There's nobody else.
Yeah, I mean, there's
Is
even
there,
a
is there,
potential
is
new
there no
candidate
one
for
else?
Bond. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
ridiculous. Yeah,
Charlize Theron can still rock an action movie.
I like
Yep.
Charlize. Yeah,
Yep.
Margot Robbie is another one. I like Margot Robbie a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, Margot. I don't know how Margot Robbie would do. I don't think she can hold her own like Charlize can. Charlize
No.
can. I mean, I think that's what happened with Furiosa. I don't think people really watched Anna Taylor Joy or Anna Joy Taylor and just really bought into the fact that you know it was almost like the Tomb Raider
Mm.
remake they did with Alicia Vikander.
Yeah, yeah.
She's good, but she's no
She's no
Angelina
Angelina
Jolie.
Jolie. No.
No, I mean, no, not even
No
close.
way. Yeah.
Um, all right, I tell you what, we're talking about a potential. I tell you what, if you guys want to come back, drop your chat, drop some of the upcoming stars who you think that will that really rock your world that you look forward to seeing their name in any project. Drop them in the comments below. We really like to know, and we'll come back and revisit some of these names um, in the future. So if you guys want to do that, feel free to do so. Now, what do you got coming up on your channel?
Well, I'm trying to put together the next few videos for my Pacino review series for season 3, because I finished 2 seasons of Pacino reviews. Reviewed every Pacino film up until the late 90s, so we're now going into the 2000s. So yeah, Insomnia will be one that's going to be coming up soon. I actually did watch that film a couple of months ago. I revisited it. Great film. Sadly, some Pacino duds will be included this season as well, like Geely and Jack and Jill. They're on the schedule for this upcoming season, so sadly
Yeah,
I'll
but
have to watch
can you
those.
play? Yeah, but you know what? I'm sure he was doing a favor for somebody. I wouldn't put those on there.
Well, I said I would do every Pacino film, so sadly I will have to include him. It
Yeah,
will be actually a first time watch for Geely because I've never even seen that one yet.
but you will get a chance to talk about one of my favorite Pacino films and one I really enjoyed quite a bit, and that's Hangman.
Yeah, that won't be. I think that will be in the next season because I got this one planned for like 15 episodes, whatever. So I'm gonna cover everything from 2000 up until 2013 or so, and then Hangman will be. I think that's from 2015. So that'll be in
15.
season 4. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Well, we are gonna get it though, because that's actually
Oh yeah,
that's a
definitely.
great film. I really like that a lot. Pacino was back to being Pacino in that movie.
Mm.
He was
Yeah, I
really,
only
really
watched that one once. I have to definitely have to revisit it because it's not really fresh on my mind or anything. But I remember liking it, so yeah, got good
yeah.
hopes for it.
That's a solid. It's a solid film. Really, really good film. I really enjoyed that. Um, Insomnia is an awesome film. Yes. Again, when you let me know, are you gonna make a video of it, or are you gonna do a watch along for it?
Oh no, those are reviews.
Oh,
Those are movie reviews. Yeah, yeah.
okay, okay. I'll have to show. I'll share with you off camera. I'll tell you a little story that I got told by one of the stars of that movie. If you want to use it in your review, you should.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, all right. Wait, Jeff. You would rather see Jack and Jill over Paint Your Wagon?
Well, if I were to do a Clint Eastwood
The,
review series,
I have to admit that the professor makes a valid point here. I think I
that
would
is a
rather watch
valid point. Yeah.
I would watch Paint Your Wagon over the other one. Yeah. Uh,
You know what's even more sad? Because I have to admit this, but Jack and Jill I actually saw in the cinema in the theater back in the day,
you
and I
know what
was the
though?
only one in the theater. I was all alone. That should
Okay,
have told me something.
okay. You have been such a powerfully good guest today, right? That we are not going to remember what you just said.
Probably for the best.
You are forgiven. No one, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it could be worse. It could have been worse. But I'm gonna die for that. I know. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna get out of here. I want to thank you, Jeff. You got when's the review of the Pacino review? When are they gonna start dropping?
Well, I'll try to have a couple in the back for at least next month. So for August, I would say is when they're going to start again. Yeah.
All right, sweet. I do hope that you'll come back and visit us sometime. I definitely had love to have you come back.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah, definitely.
even come back for a watch party when the new Alexander Nevsky taken from Rio Bravo when it drops. I'd love to do a watch party with you at this time, and
Oh yeah.
or yeah, that would be a lot of fun watching a western with you. Definitely. I want to thank the chat, you guys. You guys really rocked it out today. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Um, just trying to find an audience here, and so glad you're here. Glad you shared us out. We'll be back tonight at 9 p.m. With the Friendly Men, and we'll be talking to our friend Concrete Spew. He is a rock and roll journalist, critic, and he will be here. And we'll be talking all things rock, metal, thrash, and whatever else we can get ourselves into. And that will be at 9 p.m. here on the channel. Thank you guys so much. Jeff, stay right where you're at. And to everybody else, we'll see you tonight.
Absolutely.
Peace.